Folks, there's some groups. There are groups. And they are not happy with this so-called climate bill, so-called inflation reduction bill. You know, this is the thing, I'm reading from The Guardian here, so, factor that in. This is a thing that Democrats love to do. I mean, Republicans love to do it too. I mean, this is a general politician thing, right? Call a bill something, and then the text of the bill does the exact opposite. But you just call it that, and then you just go like, we did it. We solved inflation. We solved the climate. We did it. And then the bill doesn't really do that. It's the same thing with this bipartisan infrastructure deal. And they're like, it's infrastructure week. Look, it's finally infrastructure week. Yeah, woo! And yet, look what's going on in Kentucky, right? An entire fucking city flooded, right? Like, there's bridges collapsing in Pennsylvania, right? There's poisoned water all over the country, right? Well, but the infrastructure deal, we did it. We fixed the infrastructure. Historic. Woo! Okay? And anyway, they just make it up. It's like, oh yeah, it's the landmark deal. What does that mean? Oh, it's a landmark bill. Doesn't mean anything. It's historic. Okay. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, these people are just insane. Anyway, this is from The Guardian. Landmark U.S. climate bill will do more harm than good, groups say. Bill makes concessions to the fossil fuel industry as frontline community groups combine to declare climate emergency. The landmark climate legislation passed by the Senate after months of wrangling and weakening by fossil fuel-friendly Democrats, a.k.a. Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, and others that are not wanting to be so public, will lead to more harm than good, according to frontline community groups who are calling on Joe Biden to declare a climate emergency. If signed into law, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, IRA, would allocate $369 billion to reduce America's greenhouse gas emissions and invest in renewable energy sources, a historic amount that scientists estimate will lead to net reductions of 40% by 2030 compared with 2005 levels. Again, that's not enough. We need to go to 100%, and then we need to invest in carbon capture programs and devices, right? And we need to go above 100%. We need a 120% reduction in carbon in the atmosphere. We need a 140% reduction. 40% is nothing. That's garbage. Right? Again, they're going to pat themselves on the back. Woo! You think Joe Biden's going to live to 2030? Like, you think Joe Biden or Joe Manchin? Joe Manchin, maybe. But you think Biden's going to live to 2030? Right? So this is not something you can solve by just like, oh, well, it's 40%. We need a multi-front battle against climate change. The United States passing this bill will do nothing. It will do nothing really at all, even noticeable at all. We need an international treaty. We need reparations for pre-industrial colonized, right, countries such as in Africa and South America that, let's be honest, right? White people went down there, fucked them up, and created slave colonies for decades and centuries. And so they're way behind on pre-industrialization and industrialization. So we need reparations for those countries, right? We need to do sharing of resources with them so that otherwise, why would they have an incentive? Why would a country in Africa or South America that's just starting to become industrial, why would they have an incentive to stop climate change when they didn't even contribute to the problem? They were in chains. They were being they were in slavery when the fucking problem actually started, right? So, but again, they're going to have to face the brunt of the issues, right? In Africa and the Middle East, it's going to get fucking uninhabitably hot, right? So again, right, this is not something you can do just in the United States. We need carbon capture programs, right? We need reparations. We need an international, like, one world treaty and pact, right? Like, and that's like, that's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum, right? That is the bare fucking minimum. And this is not even approaching the bare minimum. This is garbage. It would be the first significant climate legislation to be passed in the U.S., which is historically responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than any other country. But the bill makes a slew of concessions to the fossil fuel industry, including mandating drilling and pipeline deals that will harm communities from Alaska to Appalachia and the Gulf Coast and tie the U.S. to planet-heating energy projects for the decades to come. Again, there's a giant pipeline cutting through wetlands environments in West Virginia. Congrats, Joe Manchin. Once again, the only climate proposal on the table requires that the communities of the Gulf South bear the disproportionate cost of national interests bending a knee to dirty energy, furthering the debt this country owes to the South, said Colette Pichon Battle from Taproot Earth Vision, formerly Gulf Coast Center for Law and Policy. Exactly. I agree with that. Again, historically, we cause all the problems, and then we do nothing to clean them up. And then we'll do like one thing. We'll like pick up one can on the floor, and then it's like, all right, woo, woo, go team, right? Stupid fucking country. Solving the climate crisis requires eliminating fossil fuels, and the Inflation Reduction Act simply does not do this, said Stephen Feet, senior attorney at the Center for International Environmental Law, SEAL. Overall, many environmental and community groups agree that while the deal will bring some long-term global benefits by cutting greenhouse gas emissions, it is not enough and consigns communities already threatened by sea level rise, floods, and extreme heat to further misery. Again, we need to shut the fuck up with this war shit. Oh, Taiwan, Ukraine, whoa! Shut the fuck up, China. Shut the fuck up, Russia. We all shut the fuck up, U.S. Whoa, we got a drone strike in Afghanistan again. Shut the fuck up, okay? Like, we're done with this war. We gotta stop the war shit, because we got a new war to fight against ourselves in the form of climate change, but we're fucked, right? Because our countries are run by children. They're run by adult babies, like people in diapers. And I'm not saying that because they're old and they lose track of their bodily functions, but I'm saying that because they've got a childish mentality, okay? We need to shut the fuck up with, oh, India and Pakistan, they hate each other and they're going to threaten to blow each other. Oh, Israel, Palestine, militants are like, shut the fuck up, okay? We got more important shit to deal with than your stupid religious fucking crusade that belongs in the fucking 8th century, you dumb motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna blow out this candle. It's getting a little too much for me. Right? This is the metaphor for our time on Earth. You know what I mean? Because it's over. I love smelling the smoke of a recently burned out candle. Like, I know that's the worst part health-wise, but damn, it smells good. But, I mean, again, the United States is going to pass... Now, again, let's assume there's an alternate future, right? Let's say we get a 54-seat Democratic majority in the Senate, and they hold on to the House or something somehow. And then they pass a step 2 of this legislation, and they keep going. And then we have an international treaty, and then, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Even then... Is that going to be fast enough? Probably not. But I'm willing to say, okay, that's great. If this is a first step, you know what? It's not a great first step. It's not a good first step. But you know what? If it is a first step, that's great. But if this is the only step, and then in 5 years from now, we haven't done anything else. 10 years from now, 2030 happens. 8 years from now, we haven't done anything else. We're fucked. So yes, all right. First step, okay, I'm willing to accept that, but I gotta see y'all start on a second step, and I want to see it very soon. Otherwise, let's be honest, this is a joke. This is a joke. The United States cannot single-handedly fix climate change. We just can't do it, okay? Just how we can't single-handedly fix a pandemic. We need an international, unified response. And that's not going to be happening when the United States is drone striking so-called terrorists in Afghanistan, right? When the United States is murdering military generals in Iran. This is not going to be happening when Russia's committing a genocide in Ukraine and China's fucking threatening to blow up an island for no fucking reason, okay? And India and Pakistan, don't get me started on that shit. And what the fuck's going on in India? They got their own genocides going on, right? Like, it's a crazy world that we live in. Everyone is still pretending like it's the 3rd fucking century when it's not. Actually, you know, newsflash, it's the 21st century. Shut the fuck up with your religious crusades. Shut the fuck up with your motherland. Shut the fuck up with your garbage, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. stupid fucking countries, and the U.S. is no exception. So anyway, is this good enough? No. Anyone who thinks it is a moron. But is it good for fossil fuel investors? Hell yeah. I'm about to buy some stock in fucking coal companies because why not? Let's print some money before we die. I don't know, man.